This super unsexy business model took me from 0 to 30K in my first month in the business. Now, this is probably something your grandpa does. You've probably heard of it before. Something called life insurance. Now, what is life insurance? It's a needs-based business, and you never run out of leads. So, what does this mean? I'm going to be breaking down exactly how I went from 0 to 30K my first month in the business in this video. It's going to be about 5 to 10 minutes long. If you can't sit through that, then how will you ever be successful? A lot of this business stuff is boring, and if you can't sit through a 5 to 10 minute boring ass video, then how will you succeed? I'm going to be breaking down what this industry is, what my first 30 days looked like, and how you can literally copy exactly what I did, and you can speed run and see guaranteed progress. So what this industry is selling life insurance. So I know what that sounds like. I know what you're thinking. Boring. Who's doing this business model? Isn't this for grandpas or old people? Yeah, it definitely is, but it definitely also is slept on. So we're selling life insurance. So we never run out of leads because this is a needs-based business and people are always buying life insurance. The average American usually buys life insurance about 6 times in their life, getting coverage 6 different times. This is a needs-based product, so it's easy to sell. These people fill out a request online, and then we help them with that by filling that request. So they just say, hey, I'm looking for something to cover my cremation expense, and then I'm looking to leave $10,000 to my kid, and then we help them with that expense because they need it. And this business model, I'm not going to say thrives, but it is recession proof and it is war proof, because in a recession, people want their family to be covered and be able to, if something does happen, they want to be able to know that their family's going to be okay. And in war, it's the same exact thing. They want the feeling that it's going to be okay with their family, and their family, if something does happen to them, they're going to be taken care of, and they're not going to suffer that much financially. So the reason this business model I feel is so slept on is because, one, the amazing pay. Life insurance agents get paid the best by far out of any industry. You can sell a policy for $100 to $200 a month and make $1,200. So let's say I sell a policy for $100 a month. I would get paid $1,200 off that one sale. They're paying $100 a month, and I get paid $1,200. I don't really know how that makes sense, but I'm gonna keep doing it. And another thing is the back ends. So let's say I sell a policy for $100 a month. I make depending on what percentage I'm at, I would probably say, let's say I'm at 90%. So I'd get advanced about 90% of that sale. And once that person has had that coverage for, let's say, 9-10 months, I would start seeing the back end of that coverage. So they've had that coverage for 9-10 months. The back end of that coverage, I would start seeing 6%, 10%, 11% hit my bank account after that 9-10 months of them keeping the coverage. So once you've been doing this for a while, you kind of just start to see the passive income, because it stacks up month, and then from whatever from last month hits you next month, and then it's just like the domino effect. It just keeps going. So that's the recurring revenue, but the low entry barrier, I feel like, is the best part of this business, because you can get straight out of high school, you don't want to go to college. You only need about $50 to pass the state exam, and then I guess a pre-licensing course, and then you can get contracted with your IMO. And that's the most important part, is passing your test and getting contracted with an IMO, because the IMO guarantees that they give you those carrier relationships, and so you can sell those products. Because if you just went to the carrier themselves, that's just not possible.
You just can't do that. You have to get contracted with an IMO. Any IMO is good. Just make sure that you don't have to get promoted by recruiting. You can either sell a ton of life insurance and make a ton that way, or if you want, you can build a big team. Life insurance consistently produces the most millionaires. Now, you could argue that real estate produces the most millionaires. Yeah, it definitely does. But that's when your parents bought a house for 60 grand back in 1980, and now it's worth 1.2 million. Life insurance agents consistently become the most millionaires in the industry by selling and commission farming. How I went from 0 to 30K in my first month in the business was literally just keeping my head down and staying consistent. It wasn't money, experience, it was drive to change my situation, and that's why I chose life insurance. You know, there's no business or capital startup besides the $50 to get licensed, and it's just keeping your head down and learning and working. Because if you listen in on the top producer, you're gonna just take after them. You need to be able to follow a proven system. There's no guessing. In this business model, you don't have to guess like some of these other business models. You know, oh, will this work? Will that work? You literally just copy the top producer at your company, and it will work. I followed a proven system. Scripts, steps, and words. You know, there's no guessing. No guessing equals faster results, and that's so important. I also worked from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at night every day, just grinding, because that's so important, giving 100% effort and knowing that this will take up all your time. And if you want to be successful, then it's going to take up all your time, because if you're just putting 50% in, you're not going to get much out, because you need to be putting in 100% effort to get 100% out, because this is a business where whatever you put in, whatever you get out. There's no secret, there's nothing like that. And that led me to a 30K AP month, my first month. So if you wanted to do this yourself, you could, whatever state you're in, go look up PSI exams. You might be able to take it online, you might not, but you would have to go through a pre-licensing course. You can speed through that. It took me like 3 days. And then I took my test the 4th day and passed. It's not hard. As long as you study, you can do it. And then you would obviously go out and find an IMO. Make sure it's an IMO. Make sure you can sell. Make sure you can build a team if you want. Or if you don't want, if you just want to sell, that's fine. But make sure it's an IMO, not like an MLM or anything, because they mainly make you recruit to get raised in the company, and you know that's just where the whole pyramid scheme comes into play. Because a lot of people in the life insurance industry, there's a lot of pyramid schemes. A lot of them are, a lot of them aren't. But it's just mainly, you know, knowing the terms and knowing the knowledge that will keep you safe. But if you want the same opportunity that I had, just DM me on Instagram at MarkSZY. I'll link it in the description. And yeah, I will hook you up with the same IMO that I got contracted with. I will personally guide you and help you take your first steps in this industry, and I will literally drag you to the finish line and make sure that you won't fail. As long as you're giving me 100% effort, I promise you, you won't fail. Because this business model is literally too easy to fail in. All you have to do is focus, keep your head down, and give 8-9 hours a day. That's literally it. There's no secret.